never understand how certain people in society can deem people as lazy in an economy that is set up for them to fail. That is literally set up for them to fail. Why do you think so many people are transitioning to van life? Why do you think so many people no longer want to be homeowners? Why do you think the homeless rate has tripled? But that's a whole nother video, because this economy is set up for people to fail. Gas prices are high as hell. Food is high. Food is not even lasting a whole week or 2 weeks. We're not going to even talk about vegetables. We're not even going to talk about fruit. Just to eat healthy is so more expensive than to eat unhealthy.
And the price is going up. Welcome back to the channel. Robert here. I have been trying to sound the trumpet for a couple of years now. And some people have listened. Some people have to say what they have to say. But the fact of the matter is this: inflation is real. She mentioned a lot of things that I want to address. But here's the deal. Just because you're trying doesn't mean that you deserve anything. I'm a loan officer. I have to call people. I have to educate myself. I do these types of videos to educate for the purpose of introducing myself to new people so that they could get to know, like, and trust me. And if they do want to purchase a home at some point in time, I might be considered. That takes a lot of work. I equate it to a farmer, right? I'm preparing the land. I'm tilling it. I'm taking care of the weeds. I'm planting seeds. A lot of things that I have to do. But you know what? I can't expect a certain harvest, a certain return. It's just not guaranteed. And I said all that to say a lot of you all out here think because you went to school and borrowed money to get into a certain industry and now you can't get a job, now you're upset. Well, you know what? There was no guarantees. Who told you that they were guaranteed for you to make a certain amount of money? The economy is tight everywhere, but I will say this. As a loan officer that deals with clients across the country, I do have a unique point of view in that everybody ain't struggling. So if you find yourself in a position where there's more month than your money, the first thing, write this down, number one, that you have to do is identify where your money is going. A budget. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to complain, but all you have to do is follow the money, your money. Get off of the social media platforms, go to your bank where you're getting your direct deposit, go back 3 months and just sit down and say, okay, this is my net income. This is how much I get monthly. Now, how many subscription services do I have? Because you're not entitled to have all the subscription services that you want. Or is my money going to designer goods? Am I driving a $6,000 to $2,000 a month car? Because I'm supposed to be able to get a car. You see, your sense of entitlement in a lot of cases has you in the situation you're in. Now, after you've done that, then you can start identifying what I need to turn off. I can't afford this. Just because you're here in these United States and you borrowed money and you went to school and they gave you a piece of paper, right? And now you're out here and you're moving, doesn't mean you're productive, but I'm busy. You're not entitled to anything. And that's what we have to understand. Has there been a change in the economy? Yes. Are there going to be many more changes more frequently going forward? Yes. See, this is what we have to start telling people instead of telling them it's too hard. I quit. I want to go somewhere. You all that are working have to take care of me. And I want the nicest stuff that your money can buy because I deserve it. That's what I hear. Did I hear her the wrong way? Let me know in the comment section because I'm not trying to be decisive. This is a real reaction. This is what I really feel based upon real life that I'm dealing with a lot of different people and the stuff that they say. We got to have some sense of accountability. Now, The reason I want to address this is because rent is going up. And for those of you that think that you're dodging, you're saving all of this money by not renting, you are so mistaken. And this next video, I want you to recognize the age of the person speaking. And the reason I want to point that out is because when you start getting some grays, you're not 20 anymore. You're up on the ladder further, right? And so we have to stop telling these young folks that you don't own anything, in my opinion, because this is why.
I'm so tired. Like recently in the apartments that I live in, and I've been living here for 6, maybe 7 years now, my rent has increased. Now, I know that it's normal for rent to increase, with apartments. And keep in mind, I live in Kentucky in Louisville. So the amount that I pay for rent may seem like it's nothing, compared to a lot of people in other cities where the cost of living is much higher. The problem is that in the city that I live in the state that I live in, the area I live in, the cost of rent or the cost of living keeps rising while pay remains stagnant. Pay increases if you get new positions or if you get new jobs, but it still doesn't match what the current cost of living is. And you get cost of living raises sometimes at jobs, but it still doesn't match. The inflation outpaces what you make at your job for your cost of living raises or whatever. Long story short, I got hit with another rent increase, and this time my rent increased from base rent of $1,100 to base rent of $1,441. That's $300 difference, which is a lot. And then I open up my rent payment thing today, and there's almost an additional $100 on there.
My point, guys, and again, you can watch the rest of her video. The link is down in the description of my video. But my point is this. You Kentucky, Louisville, not a big major metropolitan area. And so what you'll hear a lot on these comments, or what you'll read a lot on the comments, or even videos that a lot of younger folks are talking about not owning a home, is that rent is cheaper. Well, let me tell you, she's in Louisville. No disrespect to Louisville or Kentucky, but all of these smaller markets, Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, all the places where folks are like, we can come up over here and hide, crawl in this corner and get a little check from the government and live our lives in a race to the bottom. Those days are over. You know why? The internet. You guys remember during the pandemic, the shutdown, all those folks coming from Latin America, and I think on one of these TikTok apps, the guy was like talking to folks, hey, you can, when you get there, do this, this, and this. Look, man, the word is out. They coming. And when they get there from a higher cost area coming to your area, guess what? The rent is going to go up because the landlord, he that has the gold, makes the rules. It's a business. That's number one. Number two, and costs are going up. This is what blows my mind with those of you that are trying to hide, race to the bottom with no responsibility, be it buy a home or not. Costs are going up. You cannot deny that. You see, so much so that a lot of you folks are starting to think, a lot of you young folks are starting to think you want to live in a car. Crazy work. And you're not going to get rid of the price of things. You see, the fact that a lot of you guys are checking out is going to exacerbate the increase. The more folks that are working, the more revenue you have for different type stuff. Well, when everybody says, you know what, I want to be on disability and I want to quit, right? Or I just want my output to be here. Well, eventually it's going to catch up to you, and you get older and you get tired, and that ain't the place that you want to be in. I want to show you another seasoned person talking about rent. Again, you don't have to buy, but if you're renting, you better make sure that you're keeping up or outpacing inflation. And that only is a result of your productivity and being a good steward over what you have. And the less productive you want to be, the more stewardship is needed with your money.
I want to talk about rent prices. So before COVID, pre-COVID days, I was able to rent a 3-bedroom townhome for a reasonable price. COVID hits, and then like a year or two later, the management company comes to tell me, hey, the owners want to move back in. And I was like, what, man, because the rent prices skyrocket. Apartments were like $3,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment here in Orlando. I don't know where it is anywhere else, but Florida is insane. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I reach out to my sister, and I end up moving in with my sister and her family. I'm still there 4 years later. Why? Because rent prices are still insane.
She made my point. That's all I wanted to show here. A different market, Orlando, okay? Bigger market, $3,000 in rent. Listen to what she said. The landlord, the owner, the controller of the property, for all of you guys out there, you don't own nothing there. Okay. The controller of the property said, you know what? I'm moving back into my property. You got to go. You understand what I'm saying? The difference of controlling ownership, it's really ownership, but I'm just playing for those of you that can't wrap your head around that concept. The owner says, I'm coming back to my house. You got to move. Another seasoned person, been here for a minute, been around during the time where even in Orlando, home prices were a lot less expensive. Now, I don't know the circumstances, but I'm just saying wherever you were 15 years ago was a great time to buy if you're of a certain age. Question is, why haven't you? And if you didn't, that's in the rearview mirror. But what I'm saying is rent $3,000 and it's going up. Why? It's a business. There's a captive market of those of you that say, I don't want to control anything because I don't want to maintain anything. I don't want any accountability. I don't want to have to work and be efficient. I was going to say hard, but work and be efficient because I like to work smarter. But you got to work, right? You have to outpace, inflation. And you got to do even more so now because more people are trying to take from the system than are putting in. And if we're looking out for the groups that we need to look out for, the elderly, the truly elderly, not those of you that's still and want to be out here in these streets. I'm talking about elderly people that can't fend for themselves. Okay. And that number is getting pushed higher and higher for a lot of people because of how you lived in the past. You reap what you sow. Number 2, the children, those children under the age of accountability that you didn't ask to be here, right? Got to make sure that they have certain things. And then the truly disabled, the rest of us, man, you got to get it how you live. It was a blessing for her to have family members that would let them in. But 4 years later, she's still there. You know why? Her income situation hasn't changed. A lot of you guys are waiting for the housing market to crash. It's not crashing. Don't listen to me. Research wherever you want to research. The median home price is going up. And forget the median because that's nationwide. Look at the home prices in your neighborhood. And if you're in an area that's overbuilt or what have you, and prices have come down, they've not come down to the 2019 levels. Foreclosures are not what they were back during the great housing crash from really starting 2005 to about 2013, where they had hundreds of thousands of houses, AKA supply on the market that drove prices down. She was alive during that time. That was the time to buy a house and lock in that price. Then you're only dealing with potentially taxes and insurance. Even in Orlando, taxes and insurance on a regular house is not $36,000 a year, right? So $3,000 in rent, $1,100 in Kentucky. You guys, I'm trying to tell you, you're racing to the bottom. If you don't want to control your most expensive monthly item, your housing expenses, understand going forward, 10 years from now, we might be at $3,500 a month. And it's simply because the dollar, the unit of currency that we use, it doesn't buy as much. The purchasing power isn't as much. And if you have some debt in the right place, that same phenomenon that's causing you heartburn is helping those folks pay off that debt with less expensive dollars. But I digress.
Okay, so I was at an apartment complex building right now, y'all. And tell me why for a 1-bedroom it's $995, and then for a 2-bedroom it's $1,500. $1,500 for a 2-bedroom. But get this, like the apartment complex. The apartment complex is so raggedy. Like, it's so raggedy. And people are paying $995 for a 1-bedroom apartment, and then 2-bedroom is $1,500. Like, that's insane. Like, hell.
And they have to. They have no choice. Shelter is necessary. Even if you're living in your car, that's shelter. But as she's stating, what she's saying to me is for the price of what they're having to pay and what you get, it doesn't match. Nobody wants to live in an undesirable place, but that's going to be your choice. I know several folks that live in those types of places, and rent for, 400 to 600 square feet is $1,000. And so you guys have to decide what it is that you want to do. Buying a house or not, the question is this: are you in a race to the bottom? And have you been there so long that you're not fit anymore because of the skill level, because of your work ethic level, your wind, your cardio, your work cardio isn't there anymore because you've been chilling too long? Well, here is the warning. You can't go hide in Mississippi and Louisiana. I was just recently down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, right? Talking to a cat in Slidell, Louisiana. He was bringing me back to my hotel from the Enterprise. And he was like, you know what? A lot of us have been moving over to Mississippi, right on the state line there in a certain city. And so I've been over there looking for real estate, right? Because here's the deal. He's like, over here in Louisiana, you get da-da-da-da-da for $1,500. Over there, you could get XYZ. Well, to the incumbents in Mississippi that's been chilling on $2.15, they coming. The internet is here. Nowhere is safe. So hopefully you guys can hear what I'm saying. I don't believe it's ever too late, but the longer you wait, the harder it is. And hopefully some of you guys haven't checked out. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comment section where you think I'm missing it or I'm not seeing a point, or vice versa. When you guys are talking to one another, be respectful. No ad hominem attacks. Be adults. And if you have an issue, state what the issue is and then give a solution, because that helps the community. I think I've given my solutions here. I've given my point. And so let's keep it civil. Can we do that? I appreciate you. Now, I'm a lender. NMLS license number 180100. Been doing this over 20 plus years. If you're listening to this or if you've been watching videos for quite a while and you say, you know what, Robert, I'm ready. What's the next step? We need to have a conversation, 15-minute consultation. You click the link in the description, get on the calendar. Let's see if we're a fit. And if we are, we can move forward to getting you into a house if that's what you want to do. You guys be blessed. Be good to one another. Let grace abound. Watch these videos here. If you're not ready to reach out and make that call, they'll help you continue your education until the time that you're ready to reach out. Indeed, y'all stay blessed.